Anime Central is a large convention in Rosemont, Illinois. I consider it my home convention. Been going there many years. In this case, I went to 2024 with the goal of photography. Of course, I want to see my friends as well. I was using something new this time, the Nikon Z 40mm f2 lens. I picked this one up used. It's the same size as the 28mm f2.8, which I also have and have used at previous conventions, but I'm going to try something new. It has a larger aperture than the 28. I did notice one issue throughout the convention after looking at the photos, that the first one or two images might have been not focused properly where I wanted it. This lens does seem to have a slower focus motor than the 28mm. Maybe that was one factor. Could have been me, obviously, with moving around too much, or my choice of settings. In this case, I was using face and eye detection, which obviously is not a great option for cosplay, but it does work pretty decently well, and I can simply touch on the screen as needed to have it focus where I want. But then that might include some errors, some issues. I do have my settings set up so that it has focus priority rather than release priority, so that tends to help out the situation, and I think it does. So I'm going to be using this lens more in the future and trying to figure out if it's that or me. Most likely it's just me. I did use 1/125th of a second minimum shutter speed, automatic ISO, and aperture priority, usually using f2 for the 40 because I wanted to really try it out at that. One consideration with the maximum aperture of f2 and a 40mm lens, especially when you're photographing multiple people in the same photo, you will potentially have one person out of focus, one person in focus. Generally, you just want to make your aperture smaller in those situations to make sure that they're both in focus. And if you're further away from them, that's also better. In those cases, just try to get some variety with your photos, move around a little bit as you're taking the pictures, and you should get something nice out of it. In the future, I'll probably try to use a faster minimum shutter speed, but you do lose some ISO performance, obviously, in those situations. When this combination of camera and lens hit, they really do make nice photos. So I wasn't really having any serious issues. I always got something out of it, got a nice picture out of it eventually. Just making sure that I took enough photos, and that did work out. When photographing a cosplayer, like any type of model, they will potentially just strike a pose or something, but you can also have them move around and position themselves to make a more pleasing photo. Obviously, they might have props, things like that you can include in the photo or not include depending on your preferences. Yeah, and there's a lot of options. In this case, I just do the standard hallway cosplay type photos, so it's pretty quick. I don't spend a huge amount of time with each person, but I try to get a little bit of variety. One thing you can do in post is when you do take multiple photos, you can crop one of the images so it looks closer up, portrait style photo. In that case, you do get variety. One other thing I do with the Z5 is have two cards in the camera so that one is active backup of the other SD card. I think that's always a good thing to do if your camera supports that feature. No real big reason not to. For filming these videos, I use a GoPro Hero 9, in this case with the Max Lens mod on a backpack strap connector. I also used a new external battery this time, and it resulted in 86% on that battery at the end of the day, and the GoPro itself was at 87%. I looked at my footage from the convention, and I filmed 1 hour and 22 minutes. That doesn't include anything where the camera was on but not recording, which was probably at least a few minutes, but not too bad. If you're going to go to something like a convention and you have the option of the 40 or the 28, which one might be better? It really depends on your personal preferences. No surprise. f2.8 versus f2 maximum aperture. I think the f2 obviously is better for many situations, but if you're taking photos of multiple people, you need to probably just stop down the aperture anyways. So that's kind of a wash. And then with the 28, you can fit more people closer up. The narrow focal length, I think, produces a nicer photo for people in many situations compared to the more wide focal length. So the 40, I do think, generally wins there as long as you have enough space to make it work. Both lenses are the same size, so you don't really lose any portability with either one. I was looking at the Anime Central photos for 2024. Great convention. I like going there. I just do day trips these days, given the expense and the time costs and everything else. That seems like the best way to go about it. Try to do general hallway cosplay photography, so in the moment you go up, ask a person for a photo. You know, if they say no, just don't take a picture, but if they say yes, take a few snapshots. That's basically how I do things. More documentary style rather than posed and very very meticulous. Obviously, people do private photo shoots at conventions. That does work out decently well. They did add a new bridge that allows access to a large park in the area, which is a nice benefit for those types of photo situations. Obviously, it's going to depend on the convention you go to and what is available, but that's also fun. I just don't tend to do those too much these days. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Scott with Photography Bonsai. Thanks.